Very good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to the live trading webinar with myself, Giles Coughlin and Paul Sanders. Hope everybody's doing well. Going to get stuck in today. We're back after a break yesterday, so I hope everyone's raring to go. Hey, Paul, good to see you. You all right?
I'm good. Hey, everybody.
Right,
Ready
we're
for,
to go.
I know, ready for another week. About to hit all-time highs in the evening.
Yeah, good sentiment out there at the moment as well, and not much data for us to get through, so it looks positive.
Sounds great.
All right, let's get stuck in. So the fundamental outlook is positive. We've got Russian and US Ukraine peace talks ongoing, and the early mood music is that it's been a successful set of talks and is a successful foundation for building a framework towards peace. Now, the best way that I've heard this described was that Russia and US meeting together before Europe is a bit like there's a train and the train's left the platform with Russia and US on the train, and then Ukraine and Europe are still standing on the station. There was that very sort of, in Europe, the speech from the US vice president had sort of sent significant shockwaves through Europe. And there was a sense in which, Russia and US are ploughing ahead. They obviously are trying to put diplomacy on steroids now between US and Russia. That's probably helping the sentiment towards a peace deal with the US and Russia getting on well. That means that a move towards peace is just seen as a little bit more likely. That's lifting sentiment from about 1 o'clock UK time. Those headlines are still ongoing. So, just got to keep that in mind. Basically seen as a good first step, and they're going to be outlining their table, what they want, what they don't want. We can see, if we just take a look around markets, that the sentiment is positive. S&P 500 pushing up, looking to challenge all-time highs on that chart. You can see volatility jumping a little bit from Friday, but still relatively low around that 15 region. Equity markets, NASDAQ futures, Dow, S&P 500 and NASDAQ higher. DAX, Euro stocks, FTSE, China 50, all that sentiment is quite positive for the stock market. NASDAQ pushing higher, threatening those highs. You can see commodity market mixed, gold and silver find buyers again, copper a little bit lower. WTI Brent crude mixed on all the different drivers and headlines pushing and pulling oil around. The dollar in major support, finding a little bit of a bid. The Aussie a little bit weaker with a tentative rate cut from the RBA, and that dollar strength, just need to look out for that Dixie and some pretty big support around that 106.50 region. In terms of data that's coming up, there's an absence of data. Yields are pushing up a little bit, but there's nothing major to note. If you look at the data we've got coming out, there's an absence of top tier data. We have got Barr speaking at 6 and Daly speaking at 3:20. So Fed's Daly speaking at 3:20. Trump's executive orders are after our session in the second half of the day. So the broad mood music is positive and talks are seen as broadly successful. So in the absence of anything else, with sentiment being positive, and if you look at the order flow, see the order flow has been positive from overnight. You can see that we would expect buyers on dips. That's the expectation. The key thing to note in terms of what the sentiment is, it's a normal trend higher. A significant dip across that value area high from the 17th. Price found support and has moved up and hit that latest value area up at that 6157 region. So we've had this nice normal trend moving higher, testing European highs as we head into the US Open. And then we've got some pretty big value areas up ahead at the 6160 and the 6170 on the weekly chart. Then for this week, we can see we've got a value area high that's developing around that 6150. So we've got strong support at 6150, some resistance ahead at 6160 and a push above that 6165 region, and then we're on our way up to potentially that 6170 region. So in terms of orders and order flow, you can see that you got some sellers who are trapped all around that 6150 region on the hourly chart. You can see here and here, nice trapped sellers. See price move down, pushed up on the hourly chart. Look at the 15-minute chart. Again, we can see some decent sellers trapped in that value area high down at this region here. Trapped sellers that held as a support. We've also got some trapped sellers up at this level, but we're right up in that value area high. And we've got these pre-US Open sellers getting trapped here on this sort of good news candle between Russia and Ukraine. So dip buying can be expected from 6154, 6152, and any area back down to that 6146 is a nice dip buying opportunity, either with sellers trapped on the hourly chart or with sellers trapped on the 15-minute chart. So this becomes a very nice area to buy from in that VWAP. The projections that I'd anticipate today is either pushing up, push back and carry on. So either a breakout, pull back, go with that break. That would be lovely. And I know that's the sort of thing Paul will be looking for. The other option we could also look is if we get a break down to this region, that would be lovely to look for dip buying straight, or if we see sellers getting trapped again down at this level here at that 6147 and then carrying on forward. So either push up, a false break of those highs and then pulling down, but then looking for dip buyers. If you look at inventory, the inventory level is positive from the Globex Open. So bear that in mind. We've got positive inventory out there. So be very careful about shorting anything from here down to there, because you could expect dip buyers at any point. Trap sellers here going long, trap sellers there going long, or even better, trap sellers down at the 6140 going long. They're the three sort of scenarios that I'm looking for. And unless we have some negative sentiment, it should be dip buying, but we'll be going with the order flow and allowing the order flow to guide us. If we just sort of zoom out a bit, we can see this big sort of resistance level that we're trying to push through. So very nice area. Dip buying remains completely the order of the day. S&P 500 intra-month, just worth saying that we're now sort of middle of the month. There tends to be a slight bias for weakness in the middle of the month. Nothing particularly to note, but nevertheless just a little bit noteworthy. And I thought we'd have a quick reminder of the seasonal bias for the S&P 500. During our session, the bias tends to be dips, rallies getting sold into the end of the session before those dips being bought the second half of the session. So it tends to be down in the first half, up in the second half. So any rallies higher, you tend to see them being sold off. So that means don't be surprised if we see this kind of price action, if we see sort of up, down, up, down, and then finally breaking out later. So that's my take on things. Headlines very important again. Keep that in mind, particularly with our good friend President Trump and Russia and US relationships on major focus at the moment regarding peace in Ukraine. But aside from that, sentiment's positive, looking for dip buying opportunities. Okay, so let's have a look. So if I get that break on the 5-minute, I'll be looking for 6137.25. Stops will need to be above 6140. So that will be basically a 4 or 5 point stop.
And then looking for that push to the lows.
Yeah. There we go. This is like an invitation to sellers to say, come on.
But is it a trap? We'll see.
Yeah. Okay, we're seeing momentum is slowing on the 1-minute. So let's see. I will try an early entry if I can on this. So if I see these guys getting trapped at the 3825, yeah, that would do for me. Right, here we go. Some sellers trying it on. They're running out of time though to do anything about it. This is your space. This is your area, boys. Point of control, buyers. If we can get them trapped, then I'm going lower with it. They're not, are they?
No, there's
Okay, wait a bit longer. That's the area there, here, the 613825. That's important.
almost triggered Horatio in.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is looking like selly, isn't it? This is
I think you'll still get a reaction at this 37 level, but we'll see. I'm not in it.
so I'm selling that, right? And my stops are at 6141. Now I'm taking it because I've got these buyers trapped up there with these sellers, and if it's going to turn around, I'm saying that this will be an early warning turning area.
Yeah.
I know it's more speculative because it's only on the 1 minute, but
Yeah.
that's not a bad area for me. And it's the first evidence that we're going back down this way, albeit very small evidence.
I think you're okay, Horatio. Part of the issue is you got the point of control right up there, so it's kind of like people are happy. You might just chop, but
Yeah.
to me, it's one of those ones to just take profit early, run away with your few points, because point of control's there, still in a downtrend. You know, there's a lot of bottoming action, so feels like we turn around, but it's not a clear runaway one direction. Hold it. That's it, Mark. Mark just banking those 2 points right, left, and center.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's 6 points, right? Yeah, nice. Very nice. Very nice, Mark.
For me, I think that's the way I'm starting to understand it, where it's like most, like 80% of the time, it's taking smaller take profits, and then when you see those big runaway trends, that's when you can hold for a little
Get
bit.
on it, yeah.
It's kind of what Devon was saying earlier, like what kind of day is it? But it just takes practice.
Yeah, okay. We're still pretty flattish, but we're building, aren't we? We're trying to push another leg higher here.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, I do think there's a high win rate, and I think if the context, this is where like the analysis is important and interesting. If the context is right, you can probably get a very high win rate on those.
Now we're holding that point of control, aren't we? That's looking great for my stop getting hit, basically. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. And my stops hit on that.
Okay.
Okay. So let's have a look.
The only issue with the break-even ratio is it is building, but it's like we were saying, you got that point of control there. You got, you could easily just have kind of a little false break up, 41, 42, suck back into that little range that's developing. Now you could just blow up through, but
yeah, the 44 looks really attractive, doesn't it? And see if we get that trapped on the 15, then that would sort of say it's building.
Yeah.
And on the 5, we've got 2 candles of sellers like me trying to go back into this range who are now underwater and in trouble. I'm getting out, there's others getting out. So that all does say, well, hang on, this is not a bad area to go long from here up to the 44. Okay, rundown. We started this session with negative sentiment about Russia and Ukraine, with Zelensky postponing his trip to Saudi Arabia, and that just showed that the talk hadn't gone that well. We were looking for opportunities to sell against any trapped buyers. The first opportunity, we got the 5 minute, we got those buyers trapped here, and then took a sell against the standard deviation, looking for a quick move lower, moved my stop quite quickly to break even, and you can see price just didn't go anywhere. Then we were looking to sell from the point of control and the daily VWAP with the developing value area to the right, looking to see some trapped buyers up there. On the 1 minute chart, saw the first instance of trapped buyers, and that's when here, sellers trapping those buyers, took that as an early opportunity to go short, stopped out as it moved against me. However, then had an opportunity to get back in as it went in the right direction with all those sort of buyers at that area getting trapped, and then sold it from the 38. Added a second position in at the 36, trying to move lower. When you could see it was going nowhere, just took it off because it wasn't making progress. So just happy to take very small profit there. And then looking for another opportunity to potentially go long with those buyers trapping these sellers. But there was a negative headline, and it was the US saying that US intel saying Putin is not interested in the real peace deal. Good opportunity for short. So as we came down through those buyers getting trapped, went short again, took another short as those sellers got trapped down there. And unfortunately, I scaled in on the wrong level. And by scaling in too low down, it just meant my profit margin was not so good. And as price moved up against me, just taking it off for around break even with the 15-minute not showing evidence of those buyers being trapped. So I wanted to see those buyers trapped on the 15 just to hold it with conviction. Didn't get it. In the end, have moved back down to the standard deviation again. But that wasn't one that I was hanging around for. That's it. That's a wrap.
And that's the rundown. All right, everybody. We will see you tomorrow. Take care.
See everyone.
Yeah,
Take
buddy.
care.
See you tomorrow.